Ernest Hemingway, an adventurous literary figure. One Life and Family. Ernest Hemingway was born on July 21, 1899, in Oak Park, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. He was the second of 6 children in the family of Clarence Edmonds Hemingway, a physician, and Grace Hall Hemingway, a musician. A love marked Hemingway's upbringing for nature, literature, and outdoor sports, as his father instilled in him a passion for hunting, fishing, and camping in the Michigan wilderness. Hemingway attended Oak Park and River Forest High School, where he excelled in English and contributed to the school newspaper. Instead of pursuing a college education, he became a journalist, beginning his career at the Kansas City Star in 1917. His concise, direct, and impactful reporting style shaped his later literary voice. During World War I, Hemingway volunteered as an ambulance driver for the Red Cross in Italy. He was severely wounded in 1918 but recovered and developed a lasting admiration for courage and resilience in war, themes that would pervade his later novels. After the war, he married his first wife, Hadley Richardson, in 1921, and they moved to Paris, where he joined the expatriate literary community, famously depicted in his memoir A Movable Feast. A series of marriages and turbulent relationships characterized Hemingway's personal life. He was married 4 times, to Hadley Richardson, Pauline Pfeiffer, Martha Gellhorn, and Mary Welsh. Each of his marriages influenced his work, often inspiring his fictional portrayals of love, loss, and conflict. His adventurous spirit led him to Spain during the Spanish Civil War, Cuba for deep-sea fishing, and Africa for safaris, all of which added depth and authenticity to his storytelling. Tragically, Hemingway's later years were plagued by declining health, depression, and struggles with alcoholism. On July 2, 1961, he died by suicide at his home in Ketchum, Idaho, leaving behind a rich literary legacy. 2 main works. Ernest Hemingway's literary career is marked by his mastery of the modernist style, characterized by economic prose, understated themes, and an emphasis on realism. His early works, particularly his short stories, established his reputation as a writer of great talent. The Sun Also Rises, 1926, captures the post-World War I disillusionment of the lost generation, and follows a group of expatriates traveling from Paris to Spain. It explores themes of love, masculinity, and existential despair. A Farewell to Arms, 1929, is a semi-autobiographical novel based on Hemingway's experience as an ambulance driver in World War I. It tells the tragic love story of an American soldier and a British nurse, set against the brutal backdrop of war. For Whom the Bell Tolls, 1940, is a novel about the Spanish Civil War. It centers on an American dynamite fighting for the Republican side and explores themes of duty, sacrifice, and the cost of war. The Old Man and the Sea, 1952, is a novella that won Hemingway the Pulitzer Prize and tells the story of an aging Cuban fisherman's struggle with a giant marlin. It is a tale of perseverance and dignity in the face of defeat. In addition to these major works, Hemingway wrote numerous short stories, such as The Snows of Kilimanjaro and Hills Like White Elephants, which further showcase his minimalist style and deep psychological insight. 3. Anecdotes and controversies. Hemingway's life was as dramatic as his novels, filled with adventure, eccentricity, and moments of great intensity. In 1954, Hemingway and his wife, Mary, survived 2 near-fatal plane crashes in Africa. The first crash left him with severe injuries, and in the second, he suffered burns and additional trauma. Despite these experiences, Hemingway laughed off false reports of his death that circulated worldwide. Hemingway's female characters are often seen as submissive or dependent on male protagonists, leading to accusations of sexism. Critics argue that while some of his women, such as Catherine Barclay in A Farewell to Arms, lack agency, others, like Pilar in For Whom the Bell Tolls, demonstrate strength and complexity. His political leanings have been widely discussed. Some view him as left-leaning because he supports the anti-fascist Republicans in the Spanish Civil War, but his disdain for communism and interactions with the FBI suggests a more complex stance. Hemingway could be harsh and dismissive, even to close friends and loved ones. His relationships with his wives were often tumultuous, and he was known to cut people out of his life over perceived betrayals. His sometimes cruel remarks about fellow writers and acquaintances have added to his reputation as an egotistical and difficult personality. His excessive drinking is well documented, with some suggesting that it contributed to his mental decline. His struggles with depression, head injuries, and possible genetic predisposition to mental illness have led scholars to reevaluate the factors leading to his tragic end. For conclusion, Ernest Hemingway is one of the most influential writers of the 20th century. He remains one of the most significant literary figures of the modern era. His works continue to be studied and admired, his distinctive writing style remains influential, and his adventurous, often reckless, life continues to captivate readers and historians alike.